must start. Hello. म्यूजिक ज्यादा तेज है. Hi, Harsh. Welcome to the second episode. I'm not sure why I'm not able to respond. Give me one moment. I'll just check with my system. There seems to be some issue with this thing. Give me one moment. I'm not seeing the way to reply there. hmm Now I see. So, Harsh, welcome to the channel. Uh, System design complete करवा दो. Okay. Yeah, that's what my intention it is, Harsh, to do the system design. So I'm trying to build some useful playlists where you people can watch around, and that should help you guys understand system design in depth. So, let me post a quick poll to just see how many of you are repeated. Hey, Akash, welcome to the second episode. Just posting a poll. Let's see how many of you are new to this live uh, session, just so that I have that number. And if needed, if there are more number of people, those are new, I'll give a quick review of what we did last. And trust me, guys, you have not lost anything. If you have not attended the last session, it was just a very basic theory session. You can go ahead and watch that after this session today. Okay, okay. 50% of you are new. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. So that means I'll give a very quick 2 minutes introduction of what we have done in the last session. I'll not go into detail of those things because that is seriously very theoretical topic, and I don't want you to get bored enough, which we did last in the last session already, right? Okay. And with this poll also, give me a quick reaction. Maybe you can give any kind of reaction, maybe heart or something. If you have gone through the third chapter of this book, if you have already read through the chapter, okay, I see some reactions coming up. That's good. That's good. hmm Telinder, I would recommend you to go and grab a copy of this book. Maybe you can have a soft copy or a hard copy, whatever you prefer. But because we are planning to have this session for a book reading session on this book, and we'll be completing this book, we'll understand. every concept written in the book step by step. And every Sunday we'll be doing it. So if you have a copy of that book, that makes sense. If not right now, I'll try posting notes every after every session. So last session also on my GitHub profile, you would see notes, a detailed notes of the first and second chapter that we have already covered. So in case you have not already bought, and for the second chapter also, I'll post the notes after the session, so you can follow with those notes. But I'll highly recommend if you guys can buy that book. It will help you. Do we need to buy this book? It is highly recommended, Harsh. Again, can you please share the link? Let me share the link. I think it should be in my event on the LinkedIn, but I'll post that by the end of the session so that you guys can go and grab a copy of that book. Okay, okay. So let's end this poll. I see 50% of you have are new to this channel, are new to this live session. Okay, and before we begin, I just have a quick poll. What energy drink is that you're carrying with you right now? So can you guys post? So I'm having my black coffee with me because the session is quite intense today, and I would appreciate if you guys have some kind of drink, maybe water or something that keeps you energized for the complete 1 hour of session. So what type of drinks do you prefer while having a intense session? Black coffee again, water, chai. That's a nice thing to have. Mm, yeah. Water is good. Water keeps you hydrated, and yeah, if you keep sipping water for like on a regular frequency, you will not get lost because nowadays I see the attention span of all of us is reduced. So having those things in hand will give you good attention again, get your attention back. Yeah, that's a good idea, Ash. So, okay, we have already spent 7 minutes, and I don't think if someone else is joining. Yeah, but if someone joins, yeah, it's okay. So, to start with, because we have 50% of the audience who are new, I'll give a quick recap of what we have already done till now. In the last session of the book reading, we discussed about why and when to choose monolith and when to choose microservice. So there are different use cases where you would only want to use microservice. And there are use cases like if you're building an stock trading application, you generally want to avoid microservice. You would want to go for a monolith because of the network latencies issue. There are a lot of atomicity and managing your database transaction and everything that is difficult in microservice. That is why people who want to avoid those things in their application, they will avoid microservice and switch to monolith. Right. And then again, if you have a smaller team, that's again one point because you don't have a lot of people to manage different microservices. So that is main reason when you choose monolith. And there are 10, 15 reasons to choose microservice. I'll appreciate if you guys can go and watch the last video or maybe refer the notes on the GitHub. Right. So after that, we also discussed about some best practices of writing a good code in Golang. So how you should formulate how you should pass context, what you should not do, what you should do, all those good practices, right? Which will help you build a better, robust application, those things. And in the end, we decided to build our own inventory management app. Now, in the book, the author is taking movie review application, and I chose to use inventory application just because I want to see if we can apply the concept that he is talking about in the book on a separate application. And again, the same thing I'll appreciate if you guys do that. You choose some other application apart from inventory or the movie rating application and try and apply these concepts there. because that will solidify the concepts that you have already read in the book, you have reviewed while we are talking about it, and then you have practiced it. It will give you a very thorough understanding of the concept. Okay, give me a quick reaction if you guys are on the same page as me on building a different application. Okay, I see a few reactions coming up. That's good. That's good. So that means that, yeah, you guys are on the same page. That's great. That's great. So now for today's session, what I have planned is I'll quickly discuss about the inventory management application today. Basically the different services that I have planned for the initial application. Your opinions will be valued, and you can definitely share those opinion on the services that I've planned already. Maybe you will have different opinion dividing the services or having more services. That is totally agreed, because in any system design, there is nothing that is rock solid, a very uh, direct solution that you should do it, right? So if you have some opinions, share it. We can discuss those things. But I'll add one note. This application, I have just kept it very simple so that we can relate to that part and understand the concept. I've not designed the application to extend too much right now. I've kept that application simple enough so that it fits in the example and the use case that we are discussing on the day. Yeah. So about the inventory management application, that's what we'll discuss. Then I'll give you a very basic code walkthrough of few of those services and layers on inventory management, because that will give a very solid understanding and build the intuition of what we are actually discussing today. So our main discussion point would be service discovery today, and why it is important, how you will do it, what are the different services that you can take advantage of or you can use to solve this problem, and what problem actually service discovery is, right? So I'll discuss that. We'll write a very basic understanding of how you can build your own in-memory service discovery. I'll give you a quick walkthrough of that part as well. So this is what we have planned for the day. So, quick thumbs up if you have something that you want to discuss apart from this, or maybe you can write that on the chat. I'll see if we can include that also in the session. Okay, I don't see anything, so let me start. Okay, let's start. So about the inventory management application, just a quick check if you guys can see this green scribbles on the screen. Okay, done. So let's start. So about the inventory management application, what I have planned is to have it divided into three microservices, where first microservice is your catalog microservice. Second is order microservice, and third is an inventory gateway microservice, right? Now, each of these microservices, the part that these microservices are doing is this catalog management is responsible for CERD operation for categories. So any inventory will be listed or divided into categories, right? So this catalog service will be taking care of CERD operation for categories, subcategories. So for example, category is in electronics. Subcategory can be TV, mobile, and so on, right? And then is final product. And for the product, it will only manage basic metadata of the product. By basic metadata, I would term that as maybe the name, the manufacturer, the listing price, and all those things. It doesn't take care of the stocks. Stock is something that the order will take care of. Any buy, sell, or return orders will be taken care by order management service. So anything. So it will also take care of if the order is completed. Let's say you have put in a buy order, right? But that until unless you have got that order in your inventory, you cannot count that item or the number of items in your stock, right? So once that order is complete, then is the right time to start counting it in the stock, right? And if you have sold it, the day you have you have sold it, even if it is not complete, it is not there in your stock. It is out. For return order, it is same as the buy order, right? So those all logic, business logic will be taken care by the order service. These two service will be internal service, not we will not try and expose this to client in the final thing. Right now, to start with, I have opened the ports and we can call these independently when we are testing locally. But in the final application which goes on the production, you will not want these application to be exposed to the customer. That's what I have planned for now. Sorry. And the inventory gateway is the place where actually the client will contact. So this gateway is responsible for doing all the CURD operation or any of the order related operations over here. So for example, if I want to list a product on my screen, right? So client will say that give me details of product X. So this service will contact catalog service first, get the basic information. It will contact order service in the second flow, in the same API scope, and ask for give me the total item or the inventory available for this stock or for this product. And then it will combine the result and send it back to the customer. That is what the inventory gateway is doing. Now, the key point to note over here is that this inventory gateway basically is talking to the two other microservices. So it has to have some mechanism to contact these two microservices, right? And that is key today. I'll end this right now, this discussion. I'll take that forward in like next 15 minutes. We'll not go into detail of that discussion as of now. We'll carry that in some time. Now, about these microservice, each of these microservice have their own layering. So I'll quickly walk through what different layers I have created, and I'll show you that in the Visual Studio also. So for each of these microservice, we have a CMD folder, right? A PKG folder, and an internal folder. Now, CMD folder is responsible for spinning up the application, whether it is REST API, it is gRPC, or maybe CLI. However you want your application to run, all those logic will reside over here. So maybe let's say API. I want to run this application as in REST API. Okay, so it will spin up an REST API server. If I want it as a gRPC, it will spin up a gRPC server and so on. So the CMD is blank place, which is not taking care of any business logic, no route, nothing. It is just responsible for running the application in the set protocol. That's it. The package folder contains everything that we want to expose to the consumer of the package. So, for example, catalog system, right? The catalog service, it contains some models which will be consumed by inventory gateway also, right? Models like category or product, basic metadata, right? Those will be used in the inventory gateway also to send that back to client or extract that from the response from the catalog, right? Again. So those things will reside in the PKG folder. Anything that you want to expose and anything that you want to keep restricted to the microservice should go inside the internal folder. Now, inside internal folder, I have divided this into three folders, subfolders, and those are packages basically. Three main packages. To start with, we have a handler, right? Then we have controller, and the third one is repo, and in some case you might have a gateway. Now I'll discuss this in detail. Give me 1 minute. So handler is just responsible for accessing the request from the user. For example, if you have REST API, It will have all the REST related endpoints declared and how you will extract the data from the REST endpoint, maybe from the URL, from body, or anything, right? All those things will be taken care by handler. Any kind of authentication, authorization, part of handler. If you have CLI, accessing the data from the CLI command line is part of handler. Handler will access that information. It will just extract that information and pass that to controller. Controller is something that doesn't care about how your service is hosted, whether API, gRPC, or anything. It only cares about what it has to perform, all the business logic. For example, if I want to create a product, while creating a product, what all things I'll do? I'll validate the category if the category exists in which you are listing the product, right? If the manufacturer is a valid manufacturer, the name and the description doesn't contain any unwanted character, maybe some JavaScript, right, to save our application, all those things, right? So all those business logic will be taken care by the controller. Controller also decide if it has to reach to repo or maybe S3 bucket. Repo as in the database, or it has to reach S3 bucket, or it has to reach some other API server. It has to call some webhook. Everything. That's the business logic is in controller. Then comes your repo, where your database interaction or your S3 interaction or any kind of storage interactions would rely in would be placed. Then is gateway. Gateway is a special package where you will take care of calling different microservice. For example, in inventory gateway, you don't have any repository. Inventory gateway will not hold on to any repository, right? It will hold on, it will call the other microservices which will contact database. So inventory gateway service will not have repository layer. It will have gateway layer, which is responsible for coordinating with different other microservices. I hope we all are on the same page till now. Let me launch a quick poll if you agree with whatever, if you have understood whatever we have discussed. Okay. Oh, that's great, Devesh. Oh, you are from Jaipur? You are in Jaipur right now? That's great. So, guys, just a quick information. So, I am from Jaipur, and Devesh, the owner of channel The Techverse, is right now in Jaipur. So, yeah, and we have done one podcast. I hope you guys have seen it. If not, I highly recommend you guys to go and watch it out, because in that podcast we have discussed a lot of things about backend engineering, backend career, and different tech stack, what to choose, when to choose, and how to start for the people who are in early times of this career for starting in backend engineering or want to switch to backend engineering, right? So that's a great podcast to watch. So you guys should go ahead and watch it after the session. Okay, on the quick poll, so I see 5 votes, which is, yeah, you are on the same page. So the layers are clear. Now, enough of the scribbling. A little off topic, but are you guys planning to attend Kafka Jaipur? No, Akash, I would not want to travel right now. I don't have any plans to travel to Jaipur right now for the GoForCon. But yeah, I would do that in the next GoForCon definitely. This time I'll pass that. So, by any chance you are visiting GoForCon? Okay, I see one vote to no for the layers thing. So can I get the question? Any the doubt that you have in mind? The who I don't see the person who has posted no, but yeah, I'll appreciate if you can post. your doubt in the chat. I'll hold on to this so that we make sure that everyone is on the same page. Okay, I don't see a response yet, so let me move forward. And yeah, if you have again, you have doubt, you can keep posting it on the channel, on the live chat. I'll quickly walk through if in case you have any doubts still. I'll end the poll right now. Okay, let me go to the code. Okay, where is it? Okay, I'll show quickly walk through the code, and I hope it will make more sense when you see it. Is my screen visible, the Visual Studio Code? Can you guys see it? Okay, okay. Thanks, Akash. Okay, I'll show you the inventory application. And this thing I'll push after the session. I'll push the code after the session. I have to update the notes, which I'll do after in an hour approximately. So now in the inventory application, you can see I have created three services. We'll not discuss about the discount service right now. That is something that we'll do later part in the book reading sessions. So to start with, I have a catalog service, then I have a order service, and then we have an inventory gateway. These three are the services that we were discussing, right? Now let's quickly walk through the folder structure. So you see a CMD folder, internal and package. In CMD, I just have one file that says API.go. And inside API.go, if you see, it is just spinning up a gin server. It is saying that run a gin server, add all the routers. So to add the router, it will contact the handler, which we'll discuss right now. I'll show you where the code is. And then it runs the server on port 8081. Similarly, for order management, if you see, it's running on different port 8082. And then inventory management again runs on a completely different port. That's the inventory gateway, basically. So these three are the three services running on different ports. Now, in the package, you see models. So you see a model for specifically for category, for subcategory, then you have for product. So in product, you can definitely see that we have name, description, manufacturer, list cost. You can keep adding to more fields, but this is something very basic that I wanted to keep for now, right? Then the subcategory. So in Get APIs, I would definitely want to give more information about the subcategory versus when someone wants to create, they should just send me the ID of the subcategory, right? That's why this is different model for create and update. You can see from the comments. And this is for all the read operation like get calls, where I would send in the complete detail of the subcategory, the name and everything about the subcategory. So this is the model that I want to expose from the PKG folder. Now let's go to the internal folder. In internal folder, as we discussed, we have three major folder: handler, controller, that's the brain, and then the repository. Repository is what talks to the database or the persistence. Maybe it can be S3 for you guys, maybe MongoDB or anything. That's up to your application, your use case, and things around it. So in the repository right now, I have used an in-memory data. I have not coordinated it with, connected it with any database server for now, just to keep things short and simple. So it has a in-memory database, which is having all the operations for category, subcategory, and product. Basically, all the create, update, CURD operation, basically. The key thing that I want to show you is the handler. Now, the handler right now I'm choosing Gin as a framework. Someday I would want to choose Fiber, right? Let's say your application will get benefited using Fiber framework someday, right? And you want to switch to Fiber framework. you don't have to rewrite the code and do a lot of refactoring and everything, right? You just create one more package which says fiber handler and just plug that in over here in the CMD. Over here, I've said that build the routers using gin handler, which is the package over here. Someday when you move to fiber, you just have to change this from where you will build it, right? So to keep things very segregate and very open for extension, I have done that. Inside the gen handler, it has one function which is getting called, which is responsible for adding all the routes that we have. Similarly, for product also we have, and we have attached all the routers. Now, this will be different for any other framework that you choose. So for Gin, this is the syntax that we use. You might choose Fiber, Mux, or maybe G framework, or maybe plain HTTP if you guys like it. I definitely like it, but only because I want some basic syntax sugar, so I use Gin. So that's my personal preference, but you guys are open to use any framework for that. So that is the handler. And handler, if you see the post call, let's go to the post call. So post call is responsible for extracting data from the request body. It extracts the data into the model. And if the data has some error, there are some validation failures, anything, it will send an error as a response to the API, to the client. If there is no error while decoding the body, we will call the controller because handler has nothing to do apart from just decoding the request body or the URL. Similarly, in update, we are extracting ID from the query parameter and calling the controller now again. Query parameter, we have extracted ID, we have extracted the body, we've sent that into the controller again. Nothing fancy in the handlers now. That's the plain. Now, if I go to controller, in controller, we right now I've not added any validation, anything. I've left that for you guys because I want you guys to jump in, fix, add few validations over here, maybe add a validation while creating just to validate if the category is a valid category or the subcategory is a valid subcategory. So you guys can create a pull request and send that. I'll review it. If it is good, if it is it is good enough, I'll merge that into the code, base code. And that's what it only does those validations, any database, any thing, and then it passes the request to the repository. That's what the basic catalog service or the order service is right now doing. Both of these services are similar, just the entities are different. I hope you guys are following till now because now I want to take you guys on inventory gateway, which is the key place that I will discuss in more detail today. So before moving there, I want you guys to give me a quick reaction if you guys have understood the layers of catalog and the order service till now. You can give me the reactions on the chat. Maybe you can use any of these reactions. Okay, okay. I see quite a few reactions. That is great. That is great. Absolutely great. So now let's go to inventory gateway, which is the core part and core piece where we want to discuss today, and it will be extended, and this will be used for our service discovery discussions today. So for inventory gateway, we again have a API server, we have some models if we want to have, right? Everything is there. Basic architecture, controller again, we have handlers that is similar to what we already have. Now in handler, I have just added one handler, but we will have to extend this. We will have to extend this for catalog, complete range of models for catalog and for order. Right now, I've just created two routes, create and update just to check everything is working, right? So I'll add more things over here after the session. Now, the core part that I want to discuss is whenever there is a request from handler which gets passed on to the controller, controller does whatever it has to do, right? Maybe now controller says that I want to collect data from order and from catalog service, both of these service together now. So now controller will call order and category gateways. Basically, those two different service. That's what the controller has to do. So that's why I created a gateway package which contains code for interacting with these different service. Now, in the gateway, you see whenever we initialize a category gateway, we have to pass on an fixed address. So if I see from over here, you see category gateway. Whenever I'm creating instance of the category gateway, I have to specifically pass the address where the category might will be hosted, where you can find the categories or the microservice which holds base address to the microservice, right? This is what we have to do right now. Not a good way. I know if you guys are experienced and you guys will have a different opinion, you don't want to do it. But that's what is very basic code to start with, right? You will have a very specific hard code configuration to the microservice that this gateway service will call, right? Now, in the gateway, let's go to the gateway. Now, gateway, when I call the create method, it will do the marshalling of the body data and everything. But the core part is it will make an HTTP request to the catalog microservice. Now, this catalog microservice will then accept the request, process it. Maybe you have some business logic there. It will do all those things there and respond back. And as soon as I receive a response, I will extract the status code, validate the status code. If status codes are up to what I am expecting, I'm good. Otherwise, there is an error, right? If everything goes good, I will decode the response body, send it back to the client, which is controller. And now controller will decide whether it has to do some data massaging further. Maybe the controller decides that I don't want to send the list price, or I want to update list price based on the discount. Maybe it is also someday it starts calling discount service. And then on the list price, it applies the discount and gives those slashed rates, right? So it adds something to the response of the product, right? So all those things will be taken care by again controller, and controller sends it back to the client. Everything goes back to the client now. Now, do you see any issue with this approach? Basically, the gateway. I would appreciate if you guys can write in the chat if you see any flaw in the design right now. I'll write a quick question. Okay, I have launched a quick question. Let's see your opinion. I don't see the responses yet. Uh, okay, Akash, having a static address for other microservices, that's good. You are on the right point, Akash. Anyone else? Anyone else who wants to, apart from Akash? I see few people, for example, Harish, Harsh, Shailendra, Devesh. Okay, okay. Let's not hold on too long because we have 20 minutes for the session. Let me tell you. Akash is on the right point. The problem over here is that if I hard code the address of the microservice, for example, the category microservice, I've hard coded the endpoint, right? Let's say someday my application is receiving lot of requests from the user, and I want to add one more catalog service. Now, one more catalog service cannot be hosted on same port, right? On my same machine. So I'll have a different port. But on the production, I might have a different node for this service, right? Which will have a totally different IP address. Maybe right now the IP address is this thing, right? For your local host. So on the production, your IP address will change. You will have two instances of catalog service. But my inventory gateway is continuing to call that one node only, right? So even if I want to scale, I don't have the liberty of scaling it. That is one thing. If let's say my node goes down, the current existing node goes down, and I spin up another node for category service, the new node will have a different IP address. Now my inventory application also has to restart because I have to recalibrate my inventory gateway service with the new IP address. That makes it very difficult for me to scale, be resilient to any changes, right? In the change, and specifically changes is not in the code, but in the server configuration, how your system is deployed. So it is very difficult to scale this kind of system. And that's exactly the problem that we are solving with service discovery. Now, service discovery is nothing but a mechanism where you make your existing application, for example, the inventory gateway application, makes sure that it is always calling the right healthy endpoint for the catalog service. It is not calling the dead or not available node, basically. It is always calling a healthy node and also responsible for node balancing. If there are multiple nodes of one single service, it divides the request within those nodes. That is what is basic principle, basic reason why service discovery is into picture. So I'll start with few pointers on the nodes. I hope my writing is not that bad, but if it is, uh, yeah, if I hope my speech is not that bad. Okay, so I'll start with basic problems that you have with your current infrastructure. First is your scalability issue, which is that if you add more services, more instances of one services, you still cannot call those instances because of the hard coding. Then second one is reliability. Reliability is when your node for your catalog service goes down and you spin up a new node, your inventory gateway service will still try and call the old node which is not responsive. So my reliability and scalability are at stake. So this kind of application you cannot deploy on production. This cannot go in the production environment because we as an engineer, we have to design applications which are fault tolerant and scalable because we are very positive people and we know that our application will scale from 100 user to let's say 1 million user. Now if my application right now my design is only catering to 100 user, okay, but that same design should be capable enough or can be extended someday to serve 1 million requests. That's what we think about in the positive direction, right? But for the negative we plan for being fault tolerant. Right? That's what we plan for. Now, that's again why we start with service discovery. Now, about service discovery, we have understood what is service discovery. There are few components that are required while building any your own service discovery, basically. So any service discovery has three main components. First one being a registry. Registry is nothing but a database which holds on to the instance IP address. Let's say what it holds is it says catalog service is hosted on instance 1, 2, and 3. These are three instances. So it will always hold on to the IP address of those three instances. Then for order, it will again, if you have four services for order, four instances of order, you will hold on to four instances, IP address of all the four instances together. This is order service. And and if you have any further service, it holds on to that. So it's a database. And it doesn't have any more functionality than being a database. So any service, when it comes up, let's say I spin up one more fourth instance of category service, it has to make sure that it updates. Somehow we get this registry updated. Having said that, this is again the second component. How do you update the registry? Or how will you coordinate with the registry? Maybe let's say the inventory gateway service wants to know what are the different instances of order service that we have, and then decide which one to call. So there has to be a mechanism to find out those things, right? So that is called discovery model. Now we have two type of discovery model. One is client side, which is what I don't prefer, but still it is used and a lot of people are using it. So we'll discuss about it. And then there is server side. This is something that I prefer mostly, but yeah, again, we'll discuss about both of them in quite detail right now. Then the third one is monitoring service. Monitoring service is what I was talking about when I say that whenever there is a fourth instance of catalog service, there has to be a mechanism which updates this registry, right? This database has to be updated always. Or if a service goes down, this database again has to be updated, that this instance is lost, right? So that is what is monitoring. Now, for monitoring again, we have two models, two methods. One is pull and another is push. I'll start with monitoring because that is very plain and simple, and then we'll go to the discovery model. Now, pull and push monitoring mechanism are when my registry, somehow my registry coordinates with all these instances registered over here. For example, for catalog, we have four instances, right? So if somehow my registry can call all these four instances and check if you are available, if you are reachable, if you're working. So that's what it will check the health. So my registry will call instances to check if it is available. That is pull model. Push model is when each of these category instances will call registry and say, I am live. I'm healthy. So I'll give you an example. In the pull model, the push model is when, let's say, there is a criminal. You guys are from India. A lot of you might have seen Indian movies where you know that if there is a criminal, he has to report to the police station every week or once in a month to just say that I have not run away from the uh, from the area, right? That is what push model is. When your service itself goes to the registry and says, I am there, right? And push model is when your mom is calling you up or texting you every day to check if you have had your food or not, if you are sick or not, right? Where your registry is calling each of these instances to check if they are alive or not. I hope these two analogies gave you a very good understanding of the pull and push method. Can you give me a quick reaction if this was good? Thanks, Akash, for responding. I don't see a lot of people reacting in the chat. Is the session getting boring or anything? You guys can share your feedback if the session is a bit boring or I should change something while doing the session. I'm open to suggestions. So, okay. Meanwhile, you start typing those things. I'll start with the discovery model. Now, with the discovery model, there are two basic model which are like the client side and the server side. Now, what is discovery model? I'll explain you in a quick detail. Uh, so, discovery model is when, let's say, your inventory gateway inventory gateway has to check how many instances of the catalog service is available, right? And then it will say that call this particular instance. Should it be responsibility of inventory gateway or is it not the responsibility of the inventory gateway? That's what the two model define, right? So if your inventory gateway takes care of contacting the service registry and getting all the instances available for the particular service, for example, the catalog service. So inventory gateway goes to the registry and says, give me all available or live instances for the catalog service. And now registry responds back with four instances. Now inventory gateway it takes care of load balancing between these four instances. So this is called the client side because this is the client, right? This is the client for my catalog service, right? So if the client is taking care of doing the division or load balancing the request between the available instances by and contacting registry to help there, that is called client side. So I'll draw a quick diagram where say for client side. Client side is where client calls the registry and once it gets the response back from the registry, it then coordinates with the actual service. Now, there is a challenge in this. What if your client is not that great in load balancing the request within the service? Then, one more challenge is let's say you have two clients calling the catalog service. Both of these clients have to apply logic independently to load balance. So each of these client will start applying logic or have the logic for load balancing. So to build this client-side discovery model, it becomes very difficult to manage this when your application starts growing and your clients to one particular service keeps extending. So, for example, for catalog service, if instead of one client, if I have 10 clients or three clients, the logic will be divided in these three services. Again, if inventory management is calling category, let's say there is X service which is calling order service, right? That X service again has to implement the logic for load balancing, right? Your load balancing becomes difficult. And then there is one more issue that is, let's say there are two clients right now for catalog management service. Both of them are independently handling the load balancing. Now, let's say there are four instances of catalog service, right? Now, in this four service, the first one is inventory gateway, which says it has called this instance. It has got 10 requests. It has called all this, but over here, it was three calls, two, two. So inventory has done three calls on this service, right? What if there is some other service which is again calling the catalog? It implements its own load balancer logic, and it also calls this service, this instance particularly. That makes this instance more serving more requests, right? This is not a good load balancing on an overall basis. So those are few flaws that I feel is for the client side registry, client side discovery model. And this is being solved in the server-side discovery model. I'll give quick analogy of client side also before I move forward because that will give a very clear understanding of the flaws there. Let's say you own a mobile of some company, right? You're using a mobile of some company. Now there is some fault in your mobile. Now you want to get that fixed. What do? You will go to Google, search for closest service centers, and you will decide which service center to visit, right? Similarly, your friend who is living in the same area also owns that same company's mobile. He also takes Google search. That's Google search is basically registry for us right now, right? So you both are contacting the registry, that is a Google, and asking for the service center for the same piece, same mobile, right? And you both go to the same service center now. You both end up going to the same service center. So you are the client who is deciding which service center to visit. That's it. That is what client side discovery model is. Now let's go to server side. Now in server side, we offload this load balancing, contacting the registry from the client application. We say that the client will contact one load balancer for catalog service. For catalog service, we have a load balancer. So the client will contact load balancer. Now load balancer will contact registry, and based on the response from registry, load balancer will apply logic to coordinate with the different instances of the service or redirect the request to these instances specifically. Now, the benefit of this model is, let's say there are two clients for the inventory management service, client one and client two. Both of them will coordinate the load balancer, and load balancer will decide where the request of client 1 and client 2 will be navigated. So the load balancer logic gets offloaded from the client to two different services and sits inside one independent service. So you safeguard your actual instances from getting over cluttered. I hope that was clear. I'll give one analogy again on this. For example, you call customer care of any organization. Let's say your uh, maybe some of your Airtel customer care, right? Or your healthcare customer care. There, the IVF, the IVR, sorry. So IVR checks in the registry what who all are available available people, right? In the who are the available agents. Then from the available agents, it will redirect your call to the exact agent who is free to serve your request, right? And if it sees that all of these agents are busy serving other customers, it will hold on to your request, and then as soon as it finds the first available person, he redirects the call to that person, right? So IVR is a good example for server-side service discovery. I hope these two discovery models is something that you have understood. If you have understood, give me a reaction. If you have doubts, post that on the chat. Okay. I am still waiting for reactions. Okay, I see some reactions. Good. And any doubts till now? Any doubts till now on the service discovery? Okay. So now I come to the last part of the section. I'll take next 5 minutes, not more than that, of your time. I know we are almost having only 1 minute, last 1 minute, but I'll quickly wrap this session in next 5 minutes. So stay with me for next 5 minutes. So there are different service providers or different tools that helps you do this, right? You don't have to write your own service discovery, load balancing, anything. There are tools available for this. There are people there are companies who have invested time, invested resources to solve this problem. But I'll name them. I'll tell you what are those services. But by end of this video, I'll give you a basic outline how you can build your own service discovery. And I would want you guys to write your own service discovery. Don't look at the book. Try finding a logic, try implementing it, and then refer to that in the book. Okay. So for the tools that are available for service discovery are one of them is from Hershey Corps. The name of the tool is Sul, Consul. That is helping, again, the same service discovery thing. I'll not get into detail of what it does, but this is one tool that you guys can look around. Then there is Kubernetes, which is very common. 99% of you might have heard it if you have already been into software development for at least 1 to 2 years, right? Then there is etcd. This is just the registry. It is just the database. This is being consumed by other services. So etc is the backbone for Kubernetes or maybe HashiCorp or these people, right? Then the fourth one is Apache Zookeeper. This is also something that I know a lot of people might have heard because there is lot more buzz around Zookeeper these days. So you might have heard it. I am sure. If not, that's not very difficult. You can go ahead and start watching some tutorial. It is fairly easy to use it. One quick thing that I want to bring up is these three services are all written in Golang. So for the people who say that Golang is not great enough, you guys have one more point to argue, where you can say HashiCorp's console, Kubernetes, etcd is all written in Golang. How can you say that Golang is not scalable and not good enough? So I like those arguments when people want to do that, and I keep engaging with these people who say that Golan is not great enough. I can buy that argument if you're talking or you say that compared to C++ plus plus or C or maybe Rust, I can buy that argument and I'm open to discussion on that. But if you say it other way around and you demean, I see this. You see a lot of my comments on LinkedIn if you guys follow me. So I keep doing it. So those are the few tools that you can use. Now, moving ahead, I'll give you a quick uh, outline of what a service discovery, what are the different functions that a service discovery should have. And then I'll end the session so that you guys have something to work around. And one quick thing that I want to bring up again is last week I asked you guys to write the code and give me the code and comment that. I didn't receive any requests, so this time I would highly appreciate if you guys can implement one of your service, implement a in-memory service discovery, because that will make your understanding clear. You will feel great if you do that. That is what my intention is. Now, for any service discovery, I'll tell you what methods do we need. We need a method to register a service, correct? Now, to register a service, what are the different parameters you'll need? You'll need the service name, that is catalog service, order service, and all those things. You'll need the instance ID of the instance, basically not the IP, but ID you can give anything. You can give a GUID or anything that you want. ID of the instance specifically. So if there are four instances, each instance will have different ID, right? ID of that instance and the IP address. IP address of that instance. These three things you'll need. That is the very basic three things that you'll need to register a service, right? Then you need a method to deregister. Now, to deregister, what do you think should be there? You need a service, what service, and what instance ID has to be deregistered. You usually don't deregister the complete service altogether, right? You keep deregistering instance by instance, and once you see that I've lost all the instance, you remove the service. That's up to you. That's up to your registry logic that you want to implement. You might not want to remove the service name, but remove only the instance. I'll open that for you guys. Then there should be a method that gives me back all the available instance ID, right? So a method to return service address. So what it will ask for, it will just say that give me service name, and it will return a list of IP addresses. And over here, you also have to apply a logic that checks if the instance has not updated its status in last some time duration, definitely. Because if, let's say, some instance has not updated itself as alive for an hour or something, right? That means there is something wrong with that instance, and you don't want the client to try and call that instance, right? So some logic you will have to apply over here. And when you see that some kind of instance is there, you will have to remove it also. Call the deregister automatically, something, right? Then there should be a method to say mark healthy. Now, mark healthy method will accept service name and instance ID. That's the two parameter. And as soon as it receives it, it will mark that the instance has acknowledged that it is healthy right now. So these are the four methods any service discovery should definitely have. There can be different methods. I don't argue on that part, but these are bare minimum method that you'll definitely need, right? So after this session, start thinking around how will you implement your own service discovery, in-memory service discovery, run that, and as soon as your services start, any of these services, for example, catalog or order service or gateway service, these service should start coordinating and registering them to the service discovery. Build that infrastructure, see if that works, and you can put that good GitHub code that you built and share it on the chat or maybe on the live session in the once you complete this. I'll definitely look at that. Now, because we have come to the end, and I remember there was a request where he wanted the URL for the book. Meanwhile, I'll fetch the URL. I'll open the ground for next 2 to 3 minutes if you guys have any questions, any doubts that I can answer. You guys can also share your feedback on the session. If you guys felt something was not good, I should be improving it, or something that was good compared to the last session for the people who have joined me last time. You guys can share a feedback. I am open to that feedback. Come on. It's not allowing me to copy this. Range. Let me do that from another node. Yeah, let me. Yeah, I see no feedbacks, no reactions. You guys have already left or it's still there with me? I hope you guys have not left soon. Okay. I now I see few reactions. Thank you guys. And I think there is some issue with the chat. It's not allowing me to paste the URL. It's it's really different. Let me give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'll be sharing it. Stay along. Don't go. I'll share it from different account, maybe. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see it from my personal account. I have pasted the link for the Amazon. You guys are open to buy. Like it's okay if you buy it from somewhere else. I don't mind as far as you have the book. Maybe the paperback or the Kindle edition, anything that you prefer, but definitely go ahead and buy this book because it will help you stay connected to the sessions. And every Wednesday or Thursday, I'll announce on my LinkedIn. You can follow me on my LinkedIn. I'll announce on my LinkedIn what topics I'll be covering from the book so that you can at least skim through those sessions if you, yeah, I understand if you are working somewhere, it is hard for you guys to do it every now and then, but yeah, at least try and finish the part that I'll be discussing before coming to the session. It will definitely help you guys to ask more questions or doubt. So Akash has a question. He says, after getting the service addresses, the client will decide to which service to send the request, right? Yes, if you are implementing the client side service discovery model, yes, your client has to decide which exact instance it has to call. But if you are using the server side, it's different because now you don't have to coordinate with the service discovery, the service registry. Basically, you just call the load balancer. Load balancer will take care of all those things. But yeah, initially we'll be implementing client side so that you guys have a clear understanding how the service discovery internal works, how the registry internal works. So you start with implementing the client side, and then someday we'll, in future chapters, we'll move to using some of these tools and move away from client side to server side. Because I seriously myself don't like client side. There can be use cases for client side, but yeah, I've not used it in any production application as of now. Yes, yes. For now, client is our inventory gateway. I'll quickly go to the code. So your client is the inventory gateway right now, and the services that it will coordinate is catalog and the order service for now. But you will have to make sure that your gateway also registers itself on the service discovery. Your gateway should not be someone who is absconding that part. All your service in your inventory application should register themselves with the service discovery. So whenever any service comes up, it will register with the registry. Correct. Correct. That part should be on your application startup process, and at application end, you should call the deregistry function also on the service registry. But if there is some panic or something, your service discovery still has to make sure that if the service has not marked itself healthy for some duration, it will automatically remove that or get rid of that instance specifically. The service has to basically implement the service discovery interface. No, service will not implement the service discovery interface. That is a separate service altogether. So I'll show you briefly. I'll show you how the code would be structured. So there is this folder that is outside each of these folder, that is discovery, right? That you see over here on my screen. This will have the service, this will spin up a new service discovery service. So now you have four services in your application: catalog, order, inventory gateway, and discovery service. Discovery service will have the responsibility of implementing that interface, but catalog, order, and gateway will call that instance of service discovery and register themselves. So they will not implement it. They will implement logic to load balance within the instances. Okay. Any other doubts or anything that you guys have? Okay. Okay. Well, this, let's wind up the session for the day and give me another 2 hours where I'll update the notes on my GitHub. I'll also give you the GitHub on the chat right away, because just so that you don't miss out those that information. So this is the GitHub URL that you should be watching out. And on this GitHub URL, this is the GitHub repository. So for each session, I'll make sure that I create another folder inside the folder related to the book. And there is the place where you see the code that we have discussed, notes that we'll be doing, anything. So all those things. So if you see the chapter one, I have already added notes for the chapter one and also added the link to the session that we did for that. So in case you guys want to refer to that, you guys can straight away go and click on this link and watch that session. And there is a detailed notes for the chapter there. So similarly, I'll do it for chapter three also. It will take another 2 hours for me to update that, and you guys can definitely see that. Okay, then let's see you guys in the next session. We'll I'll conduct the next session in on exactly same time next Sunday, where on Thursday or Wednesday I'll announce what topics we'll be discussing in the next session, and hope to see you guys in the next session. Bye.